Hi, this is part 2 of my series on exercise myths and misinformation, where I cover 4 more exercise myths. Number 1, you need 10,000 steps per day. According to this character, which some people think looks like a person walking, you do need 10,000 steps per day, but only because it's a Japanese character for the number 10,000. 10,000 steps per day was actually invented by a Japanese company that wanted to capitalize on the popularity of the Tokyo 1964 Olympics. So they invented a step counting device that they called Manpo-kei, which translates to 10,000 step meter. So the original idea of 10,000 steps per day was based on a Japanese character, not science. Fortunately, over the last 20 years, there's been plenty of scientific investigations looking at the number of steps you need per day for health benefits. 2 recent meta-analyses both concluded that the benefits don't start nor end with 10,000 steps. They both found that a decrease in mortality begins with 3,000 steps per day, but the benefits go up with each additional 1,000 steps per day, up to at least 12,000. And it only takes about a half a mile or 10 to 15 minutes of walking to get in those 1,000 steps. So you don't need 10,000 steps per day, but it's better than 3,000 and just not as good as 12,000. So, all things considered, promoting 10,000 steps per day way back in 1964 was a really good guess by the Japanese, and much better than LED teeth. Number 2, ice baths improve recovery from exercise. After I ran the Grand Island Marathon, I went straight into Lake Superior's 52-degree water. Because, like many of the other runners, I believed or hoped that cold water immersion would reduce or prevent muscle soreness, with its ability to alter blood flow, decrease inflammation, and reduce neural stimulation. But do ice baths or cold water immersion really reduce muscle soreness? A 2022 meta-analysis found that cold water immersion between 50 to 59 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes was slightly more effective than active recovery, contrast water therapy, and warm water immersions. But they found that a few minutes of air cryotherapy was significantly better than cold water immersion. Part of the reason cold helps with muscle soreness is that it reduces the inflammation caused by exercise-induced muscle damage. However, inflammation is an important part of muscle recovery and repair. So if you go with a post-exercise ice bath to reduce muscle soreness, you're also shrinking some of the training gains. So, soaking in Lake Superior after a marathon, good. Soaking in Lake Superior after a long training run, not so good. 3. Lactic acid causes muscle fatigue. When you're fatigued, you can still function, but just at a lower level. Kind of like presidential candidates. Intense fatiguing workouts increase lactic acid inside your muscles when glucose is broken down anaerobically for energy. But immediately after lactate is produced, it separates into lactate and acid. The bulk of the lactate quickly leaves the muscle and enters the bloodstream, and then is used as an energy source in your heart, slow twitch muscle fibers, and your brain. So it's innocent of causing muscle fatigue. The acid, along with acid from other sources, impairs the further breakdown of glucose, reducing the amount of energy it can provide to your muscles, therefore leaving them fatigued. Now, your muscles can also get energy from fat, but that just takes too long to be of much use during vigorous exercise. So, fatigue during moderate to intense or really any exercise isn't due to lactic acid, but more likely it's due to the buildup of waste products like phosphate, acid, ADP, and reactive oxygen species or free radicals. Number 4, lactic acid causes muscle soreness. The soreness you feel the morning after a strenuous workout, that's called satisfaction. It all starts when your muscles are exposed to eccentric or lengthening muscle contractions and or novel movements. These damage the small proteins and structures inside the muscle fibers. The damage allows calcium to flood inside the fibers, causing even more destruction. Repairing all that damage requires inflammation, which means the release of arachidonic acid, prostaglandin E2, and leukotrienes, which increase free radicals that break down the proteins even more. At the same time, edema or swelling is also happening in those mangled fibers. Eventually, the edema and inflammation build up to a point where it irritates pain receptors near the damaged muscle fibers, with peak soreness showing up hours after the workout, or even the next day. Hence the true name delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS. Note that lactic acid isn't even involved. Lactate in any acid is removed within 1 to 2 hours after exercise. So, if cooling down exercises, massage, or cold water immersion help reduce post-exercise muscle soreness and tightness, it's not that they flushed out lactic acid, because it's not even there. It's because they reduce the edema or inflammation. Thanks for watching this second in a series of videos I'm doing on fitness myths and misinformation. Check back for other myths, and let me know if there's any exercise or fitness advice that you've always wondered about. As always, my answers come from peer-reviewed research.